South Carolina CDL on the horizon? These will help. Like, subscribe, and let's go.
Question 1. You must inspect your cargo again within the first 50 miles after beginning a trip. True or false? True. Federal regulations require an inspection within 50 miles to ensure that cargo is properly secured and has not shifted. Question 2. In South Carolina, CMV drivers may legally use a handheld mobile phone while operating a commercial vehicle if traffic is light. True or false? False. Federal and state regulations prohibit the use of handheld mobile devices while operating a CMV, regardless of traffic conditions. Question 3. When using emergency warning devices on a two-lane undivided highway, one triangle should be placed 100 feet ahead of the vehicle, one 10 feet behind, and one 100 feet behind. True or false? True. This triangle placement alerts other drivers in both directions of a stopped vehicle on an undivided road. Question 4. If your vehicle is equipped with an anti-lock braking system, or ABS, you can drive faster than other vehicles in adverse conditions. True or false? False. ABS helps maintain control during braking, but it does not allow for higher speeds in poor driving conditions. Question 5. To perform a proper pre-trip inspection, you must check the power steering fluid level. True or false? True. Inspecting fluid levels, including power steering, is part of a comprehensive pre-trip check to ensure safe operation. Question 6. Tire tread depth must be at least 4/32 of an inch on all tires of a commercial vehicle. True or false? False. Steer tires must have at least 4/32 inch tread depth, but other tires only require a minimum of 2/32 inch. Question 7. A vehicle placarded for hazardous materials must stop at all railroad crossings in South Carolina. True or false? True. Placarded vehicles are required to stop at all crossings, ensuring no trains are approaching before proceeding. Question 8. If your service brakes fail while driving, you should pump the brake pedal rapidly to build air pressure. True or false? False. Pumping does not restore air pressure. Instead, you should use the emergency or parking brake cautiously. Question 9. The purpose of the tractor protection valve is to prevent air loss from the tractor when the trailer air supply fails. True or false? True. This valve closes automatically to protect the tractor's air system if trailer pressure drops dangerously low. Question 10. You must notify your employer within 60 days if you are convicted of any traffic violation while driving a non-commercial vehicle. True or false? False. CDL holders must report such violations within 30 days, even if the offense occurred in a personal vehicle. Question 11. Brake drums or discs should never have any cracks, no matter how small. True or false? False. Small cracks are acceptable if they do not go through the drum to the outside or interfere with braking performance. Question 12. Carrying a fire extinguisher is optional unless you are transporting hazardous materials. True or false? False. All CMVs must carry a properly rated fire extinguisher, regardless of cargo, to comply with safety standards. Question 13. The minimum age to obtain a South Carolina CDL for intrastate commerce is 18. True or false? True. Drivers may obtain a CDL at age 18 for operations within the state, but must be 21 for interstate commerce. Question 14. The trailer emergency brakes will engage if the air lines are disconnected while the trailer is parked. True or false? True. Loss of air pressure causes spring brakes to activate, holding the trailer stationary until air is restored. Question 15. Tank vehicles transporting liquids must account for the surge effect during braking and acceleration. True or false? True. Liquid movement can cause a surge, impacting vehicle handling and increasing stopping distance. Question 16. You can rely solely on your mirrors when backing up your commercial vehicle. True or false? False. Mirrors have blind spots. Backing should be done with the help of a spotter or by physically checking surroundings when possible. Question 17. A CMV driver who refuses a blood alcohol test will face the same penalties as if testing over the legal limit. True or false? True. Refusal to test results in an automatic disqualification under implied consent laws. Question 18. Cargo securement regulations apply only to flatbed trailers. True or false? False. Securement rules apply to all types of commercial vehicles to prevent shifting or falling cargo. Question 19. Double and triple trailers must be equipped with converter dollies and proper air brake connections between each unit. True or false? True. These components are essential for braking and turning stability across multiple trailers. Question 20. You can legally operate a school bus with a standard CDLB license without additional endorsements. True or false? False. School bus operation requires both a passenger and a school bus endorsement on the CDL. Question 21. When testing hydraulic brakes, you should pump the pedal 3 times and hold it for 5 seconds. True or false? True. This test checks for pedal firmness and any pressure drop that would indicate a leak. Question 22. If your vehicle hydroplanes, the most important thing to do is immediately brake firmly to regain traction. True or false? False. Braking can worsen hydroplaning, ease off the accelerator, and steer straight until control returns. Question 23. Hazardous materials with the same classification must always be separated when loaded on the same trailer. True or false? False. Some same-class materials may be loaded together depending on compatibility charts and packaging. Question 24. In South Carolina, CDL applicants must provide proof of U.S. citizenship or lawful permanent residency. True or false? True. Federal and state rules require proof of legal presence before a CDL can be issued. Question 25. A brake lag distance refers to the time it takes for mechanical parts of the brakes to engage after applying pressure. True or false? False. Brake lag refers to the time air takes to travel through the lines and engage the brakes, not mechanical delay. Question 26. When coupling a trailer, the fifth wheel jaws must be open before backing under the trailer. True or false? True. The jaws must be open so the kingpin can enter and lock properly. Question 27. You can remove a placard from your vehicle once the hazardous materials have been unloaded. True or false? False. Placards stay on until the vehicle is completely cleaned of residue and purged if necessary. Question 28. When inspecting slack adjusters, you should not be able to pull them more than about 1 inch with the brakes released. True or false? True. More than about 1 inch indicates improper adjustment and potential brake failure. Question 29. Tanker trucks are more likely to roll over because the center of gravity is higher when carrying liquids. True or false? True. Liquid surge plus a high center of gravity increases rollover risk, especially on curves. Question 30. Passenger-carrying vehicles may use the hazard lights while operating in traffic to warn other drivers of frequent stops. True or false? False. Hazard lights should not be used while moving unless required by law or an emergency. Question 31. Combination vehicles take less time to stop than single vehicles because of the extra braking power. True or false? False. They take longer to stop due to increased weight and the complexity of the brake systems. Question 32. All school bus drivers must be able to check that the stop arm is functioning properly during a pre-trip inspection. True or false? True. The stop arm is a critical safety device, and its function must be verified before operation. Question 33. If you park a vehicle with air brakes and the system loses pressure overnight, the spring brakes will automatically engage. True or false? True. Spring brakes are designed to engage when air pressure drops below a safe threshold to prevent uncontrolled movement. Question 34. It is acceptable to drive a CMV with a cracked windshield as long as the crack does not interfere with the wipers. True or false? False. Any windshield damage that obstructs the driver's view is a safety hazard and not compliant with inspection standards. Question 35. You should drain air tanks daily to remove oil and water that can cause brake failure. True or false? True. Daily draining prevents moisture buildup, which can lead to freezing or corrosion in the brake system. Question 36. Using engine retarders on wet or icy roads helps improve vehicle traction. True or false? False. Engine retarders may cause drive, wheel lockup, and loss of control in slippery conditions. Question 37. A loaded trailer is more likely to skid than an empty trailer because of the extra weight. True or false? False. Empty trailers are more prone to skidding due to reduced traction and less weight pressing on the tires. Question 38. When driving a double trailer, the rear trailer is less likely to swing out on curves or during braking. True or false? False. The rear trailer is more prone to trailer swing or crack the whip effect, especially during sharp maneuvers. Question 39. You are required to carry shipping papers for hazardous materials in a pouch on the driver's door or within arm's reach. True or false? True. Shipping papers must be immediately accessible to first responders in the event of an emergency. Question 40. In cold weather, alcohol evaporators should be checked and refilled daily to prevent airline freeze-up. True or false? True. Alcohol helps prevent freezing in air brake lines, which could otherwise lead to brake failure. Question 41. Only drivers operating Class A vehicles are required to perform a pre-trip inspection. True or false? False. Pre-trip inspections are mandatory for all CDL classes and vehicle types to ensure roadworthiness. Question 42. Hazardous material placards are required only when transporting more than 1,000 pounds of regulated material. True or false? False. Some materials require placards regardless of weight, depending on the hazard class and type. Question 43. The air compressor governor controls when the air compressor pumps air into the storage tanks. True or false? True. The governor maintains air pressure within a safe range by signaling the compressor to start or stop. Question 44. It is acceptable to tow a disabled bus with passengers on board if the breakdown occurs on a rural road. True or false? False. Passengers must be removed before towing, unless evacuation would pose a greater risk to their safety. Question 45. If your CDL is suspended in one state, you may still operate a commercial vehicle in another state. True or false? False. CDL disqualifications are federally enforced and apply nationwide, not just within the issuing state. Question 46. The stab braking method involves applying the brakes fully, releasing them once wheels lock, and reapplying as needed. True or false? True. Stab braking helps maintain control during emergency stops, especially when the vehicle lacks ABS. Question 47. A tank endorsement is required only if the tank is permanently attached to the vehicle. True or false? False. A tank endorsement is required for transporting liquid or gaseous materials in containers of 119 gallons or more, whether portable or permanent. Question 48. You should always use low beams when driving in foggy conditions. True or false? True. Low beams reduce glare and improve visibility in fog compared with high beams. Question 49. Buses must have at least one emergency exit located in the center of the roof. True or false? False. Regulations require multiple clearly marked emergency exits, but not necessarily a roof exit. Question 50. Drivers of passenger vehicles must stop at all railroad crossings, even if no train is present. True or false? True. Passenger vehicle drivers are required by law to stop and ensure it is safe before crossing railroad tracks.
Nice job! Want to be extra ready? Watch the next one or tap the link for your cheat sheet now.